federally funded where you believe they were once state funded, and I just read to you that they've never been state funded ever in our history.
Also, I had a question. As you want the states to pay their salaries, what about for the approximate 8,000 people that work as staff on the Hill? Who should be paying the staff salaries?
Abby, we should fire all those people.
That's a different conversation. You look at that one website they have, it's the Instagram account, Dear White Staffers. It's pretty bad. I don't know if you know about that one. But I'm just curious. I mean, that if you do look at an expense of Congress, that's the expense is the staffers. So Gary, are you suggesting that they're paid by the state?
Low-hanging fruit would be, that's low-hanging fruit, would be the 27 members doesn't speak about the staffers, it speaks about Congress. So therefore, those are the ones that I would be focusing on. And
so
that's what we should focus on. They'll continue to get paid because guess what? They are being paid now without any amendment or anything in the Constitution speaking about their pay. So when I was
who's going to pay? Who should pay them?
But that's good. Let's put that on the back burner because it's almost like anything else. It's not a topic. But if you want to make it a topic, I would ask you then, what do you think? Because I've only focused on one thing, and that's the 27th that actually speaks to a particular 535 people. But to bring something else onto the table, I have no.
That's the greatest expense.
Except to continue it the way it is. Yeah.
Well, the greatest expense in running Congress in those two chambers are they each member of Congress and definitely the Senate have large staffs.
Understood.
So I'm asking you who should pay for the transportation back and forth to the district that they usually go every week.
Now,
usually, who should be reimbursing? Should that be the states also, or is that okay? That comes out of the federal?
No, yes, it should be. It should be the states because, as you mentioned about the salary of 175, that all states may not be able to afford that, and some may be able to afford more. Well, that's just part of the negotiation you have with your state legislatures and governors. That's how you put yourself into the budget. So you get that 175. Say if you're, Virginia and I'm North Carolina. Once that rolls back into a state, then I will be speaking to my state legislatures and governors and talking about how I'm going to do my best for their interests. And they'll look at me and say, hey, I'm sorry, 175 isn't, we're not going to be able to do that. Then let's talk about it because I'm working. It's my job to work for you. It's the same thing when we all go to work. We have to produce to get that paycheck. So therefore, you may go back to Virginia and they may say, hey, great job. You've been doing great. You're going to get 180. I may not get like 140. I don't know. The governor may say you don't definitely deserve as much as I do. And I may get less than that. But here's the thing. I'm there for the same purpose that George Washington was speaking about. Public service. A public servant. So just like I have for the military, not do it for the money. It's public service like with so many other public service providers and companies, organizations. You even have not-for-profit. A lot of people do it not for the money. Therefore, why is that really a key thing? If you want to roll back that 27th and bring their paycheck back to the states, the money and the position and the impact you have on everybody's lives shouldn't be about the money, but it is about the money. Have been about the money, and that's my way of seeing how James Madison really, for him, it was about the money.
But who pays all the expenses to run Congress? So you're still not answering that question. Who's going to pay?
The taxpayers.
But is it coming out of this? Who's paying for the House? The the doorkeepers of the house, the sergeant at arms of the house. Who should be paying all those salaries? The states or whatever?
Well, hold on. I think we're all asking the wrong questions, because I've now gone to this website, the hire and fire .com thing that he's referencing, and I'm reading this, and here's the facts. The website itself misunderstands what the 27th Amendment is, and so the 27th Amendment, it just says no law varying the compensation of the service of the senators and representatives shall take effect until the election of representatives shall have intervened. And so what you're asking to do is to repeal it. It's actually going to do the opposite of what you want, because if it's repealed, what you do in repealing that is allow Congress to be able to vote to give themselves a raise immediately with no delay or accountability to voters. So I think what you're asking for, either you just literally don't understand what the 27th Amendment is, or you do and you're using this trickery because what you really want is for Congress to be able to vote for themselves to get an immediate pay raise, because that's all the administration, that's all that this amendment does, is speaks to their ability to give themselves a pay increase. So Gary, let's break this down. What is it you actually want? If you genuinely want to repeal it, you must be in support of Congress voting to give themselves an immediate pay raise. Is that what you're looking for?
Well, as with most things, that when we start reading, if we went by just a little bit, you can make all kinds of assumptions, but I think I stated in the beginning, and through everything that I've ever put out, and for the material that I've created as content that I've shared with plenty of people, it goes to the one principal thing I said earlier, the 27th Amendment, which allows them to pay themselves on the federal treasury. We bring their payrolls back to the state.
Well, hold on. No, Gary, this is where you're misunderstanding. Before and after the 27th Amendment, the pay was coming from the U.S. Treasurer. It never came from the states. You're making that detail up in your mind. That's never been a reality. And all the 27th Amendment is whether or not Congress can give themselves an immediate raise, which is what you seem to you support them giving themselves an immediate raise, because repealing the 27th Amendment, that's the impact that does. So let me ask you this. Do you want Congress to be able to vote to give themselves an immediate raise?
So therefore, anything I've said, you've been spinning it to try to say something I've never said.
I'm reading the website.
Let me try again. I do not want them being paid and paying themselves from the federal treasury. That is the bottom principle as to what the whole purpose is.
But they got paid by the U.S. Treasury. Well, hold on. But hold on. Just point of order. The fact remains they got paid from the U.S. Treasurer prior to the amendment and after the amendment. And so what you're talking about in repealing it doesn't do any of that. Whether you repeal it or keep it, their salaries are going to come from the U.S. Treasurer either fucking way. And that's the way it's been the entire fucking.
I'll be coming back to you with the evidence right now. Like I said, I'll have to get the evidence because I understand from my interpretation of what I've read and studied that they did not get paid at all from the federal treasury, because
so why
that
don't
is
you look
what.
that up? What, like, these are
No,
just
I'm not going to
facts.
look it up because it's kind of late.
These are just facts.
Okay, that's fine.
It's 300 years of facts, 250 years of facts.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I get it. So, the bottom line to the end game, such as in any type of game, I guess, is to bring change or win, is that the 27th Amendment, as it exists today, allows them to give their raise, which they haven't done in a long time. And that's really good, because it would be bad to do it at a time when everybody else is kind of having these bubble pops and COVID and all. But they haven't done it in a while. So anytime they need to or want to or have in the past, they go to the federal treasury. They should be getting it from the state, talking to their state legislatures, talking to their government.
That's never happened in U.S. history, period.
Well, that's true. That's why you can think of anything after the 10th, the 11th, and 13th. Those things weren't U.S. history either until they became part of the U.S. history. This would be part of U.S. history.
You know what?
Just like
I think you're just a double talking idiot. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Not offended by anything. I've been around plant for a little bit, so I can't be insulted.
Well, let me make this clear. I posted your website so everybody can go read for themselves what you guys are asking for, and what he's supporting is a repeal of the 27th Amendment. He's stating here that the reason they want to repeal it is he wants the states to be where the Congress gets funded from, which repealing the 27th Amendment would not do. In fact, the only thing repealing the 27th Amendment would allow for is for Congress to give themselves an immediate raise. So that's what you stand for.
How do we bring? No, I'm glad you're asking, because I don't mind going a little deeper in the rabbit hole. Okay, so how is it that, or how would you say most of the states end up, let's say, take marijuana for let's use marijuana. When California started it out for medicinal purposes, right? Most states were sitting back just watching. As soon as